start with my favourite story from the Grimm brothers, and I will start with once, when the world was still young, when the world was nearly as young as you, Bev. There lived a fisherman and his wife, who were so poor they had no real home to live in. Instead, they had to live on the beach in a
beach hut.
Beach hut. I like beach hut. It's wrong, but I like it. A shell? A shell? A shell? Oh, something. No. Cave? No. Caravan? What, when the world was still young? No.
Tent. Cave.
They lived
A grain of sand.
in a toilet.
What, when the world was still young?
Yeah. Everybody needs toilets. One day the fisherman left his wife sitting in the toilet, and he walked down the beach and pushed his little boat into the
sea.
No. The blue sea. He rowed his little boat through the blue sea. He let down his net and he caught
A fish.
no.
A mermaid.
No. No.
Crab.
On the nosy, nothing. So he tried again from the other side of the boat. He let down his net and he caught nothing. You know the story, excellent. He tried once more, and this time, yes, this time, he did catch a fish. And as he pulled the fish into the boat, he heard it say, "Please, let me go." Oh, forget it. I'm not really a fish. I'm a prince under a magic spell. Please let me live. So the fisherman, who was a kind man, let the fish go and watched it swim away into the blue sea. The fisherman rowed his little boat back through the blue waves. He pushed his little boat up the beach. He went up to the toilet where his wife was sitting, and he said to her, "You'll never guess what I just caught. I just caught a fish." And she said, "You're a fisherman." He said, no, you don't understand. It was a magic fish. It opened its mouth and it spoke to me. It told me it was a prince under a magic spell, so I let it go. And his wife said to him, "You stupid man! If the fish was magic, it would have given you something. Look, we live in a toilet. All I want in life is a little cottage to live in. That's not much. Please, go back. Ask the fish for a cottage." So the fisherman, who was a kind man, pushed his little boat back into the blue sea. You're listening, good. And as he rowed through the blue waves, he called out, and now this is your chance to join in. You say after me, "Little fishy in the sea.
Little fishy in the sea.
From my net I set you free.
From my net I set you free.
Now I want some help from thee.
Now I want some help from thee.
It's for my wife, it's not for me."
It's for my wife, it's not for me.
And from the blue sea came the fish. "What?" said the fish. "It's your wish." "My wife," said the fisherman, "she wants to live in a little cottage." And the fish said, "She has her reward." And away it swam into the blue sea. The fisherman rowed his little boat back through the blue waves, and when he walked up the beach, he saw that there, where the toilet had stood, there was now standing a beautiful little cottage with roses round the door. So the fisherman and his wife both lived happily ever. No, they didn't. They lived happily for one day after, because the next morning the fisherman was woken up by an elbow. "Wake up," said his wife. "It's not enough. This cottage is too small. I need," she said, "somewhere bigger to live. I need," she said, "a castle." "A castle," said the fisherman. "I need," she said, "a castle. Go and ask the fish." So the fisherman, who was a kind man, walked down the beach and pushed his little boat into the
Blue sea.
No. The sea, yes. But now, as he pushed his boat into the waves, he saw the sea was green. But still he called out, "Little fishy in the sea,
Little fishy in the sea.
from my net I set you free.
From my net I set you free.
Now I want some help from thee.
Now I want some help from thee.
It's for my wife, it's not for me."
It's for my wife, it's not for me.
And from the green sea came the fish. "What," said the fish, "is your wish?" "My wife," said the fisherman, "she wants to live in a castle now." "She has," said the fish, "her reward." And the fish swam away to the green sea. The fisherman rowed his little boat back through the green waves, and when he walked up the beach, he saw that there, where the toilet had stood, where the cottage had stood, there was now standing a clang castle. And standing on the drawbridge was the fisherman's wife, looking very happy. So the fisherman and his wife both lived happily ever. For one day. "Wake up," she said, "it's not enough. This castle is cold and damp. There's water running down the walls. There's a very strange smell coming from the dungeons. I need," she said, "somewhere nicer to live. I need," she said, "a palace." "You can't live in a palace," said the fisherman. "You are only a fisherman's wife." "I need," she said, "a palace. Go and ask the fish." So the fisherman, who was a kind man, walked down the beach and pushed his little boat into the sea that now was. And he called out, "Little fishy in the sea,
Little fishy in the sea.
from my net I set you free.
From my net I set you free.
Now I want some help from thee. Someone stop me." Yeah. And from the sea came the fish, and the fish said, "What's your wish?" And the fisherman said, "My wife wants to live in a palace." And the fish said, "She has a room." Yeah, okay. So the fisherman rowed his little boat back through the grey sea. He walked up the beach, and there, where the toilet had stood, where the cottage had stood, where the castle had stood, there was now a beautiful palace of white marble. And there was the fisherman's wife, looking very happy. So they both lived happily ever for one day. "Wake up," she said. "I can't live in a palace. I'm only a fisherman's wife." And the fisherman said, "I told you that yesterday." But his wife said, "No. I can't live in a palace and be a fisherman's wife. I want to be the king." "King?" asked the fisherman. "King," said his wife. "Go and ask the fish." So the fisherman walked down the beach and pushed his little boat into the and he called out, "Little fishy in the sea,
Little fishy in the sea.
from my net I set you free.
From my net I set you free.
Now I want some help from thee.
Now I want some help from thee.
It's for my wife, it's..." And from the Red Sea came the fish. "What," said the fish, "is your wish?" "My wife," said the fisherman, "she wants to be the king." "She has," said the fish, "her reward." And the fish swam away into the Red Sea. The fisherman rowed his little boat through the red waves, and when he walked up the beach, he saw that there, where the toilet had stood, where the cottage had stood, where the castle had stood, there was still a beautiful palace of white marble. But now, in the center of the palace, there was a throne of gold, and seated on the throne was the fisherman's wife, who was now the king. And she looked very happy, so the fisherman and his wife both lived happily. "Wake," she said, "up. It's not," she said, "enough." "What do you mean it's not enough?" said the fisherman. "You are the king." "It's not," she said, "enough. I want to be God." "Shh," said the fisherman. "You must never ever say that." "I want," she said, "to be God. Go and ask the fish." So the fisherman took his little boat and pushed it out into the sea that now was. And he called out, "Little fishing in the sea. From my net I set you free. Now I want some help from thee. It's for my wife, it's not for me. And from the black sea came the fish. What, said the fish, is your wish? My wife, said the fisherman, she wants to be God. She has, said the fish, her reward, and the fish swam away into the black sea. The fisherman rowed his little boat back through the black waves, and when he pushed his little boat up onto the beach, he saw that there, where the palace had stood, where the castle had stood, where the cottage had stood, there was standing a toilet. And sitting in the toilet was not God, was not the king, it was a poor fisherman's wife who had asked for one thing too many. And that is the story of the fisherman and his wife, and that is how you and I have told it.
Hey!